What do you want to see happen across the country immediately to start to get a handle on this?
Well, listen, I think in these kind of situations, there are three core principles that we need from our leadership and from our government. We need, first of all, to lead with science and with scientists. Second, we need transparency. We need to make sure that we are communicating to the public what we know as a government in terms of how many cases we have, how many people are being tested. But third, we have to make sure we get the resources to the people on the front lines. This means departments of public health. It means doctors and nurses and hospital systems and people who are struggling for information at times and need to know how to keep themselves safe. What I would like to see across the country is all of us recognizing that there are steps we can take to keep ourselves safe, washing our hands frequently, making sure that we stay home if we're sick, covering our mouth if we cough, and certainly ensuring that we are practicing social distancing. Now, this has been part of the mitigation strategy that we've been hearing now is so essential right now. Social distancing means changing how we greet people, moving away from contact and handshakes toward a hand on the heart or at most an elbow bump. But we also need to think about shifting to telework. We need to start avoiding large crowds, especially if we're vulnerable, if we are older or if we have other illnesses that may put us at increased risk. This is not easy to do. This means changing a bit and sometimes a lot of how we live. But these are the steps that, if we take them, can make a real difference in the trajectory of this illness.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.